I agree.
Your taper should be boring. It shouldn't be, I'm not running so I can go out and do this different crazy adventure. No, it shouldn't be that. You're tapering. That means the work has been put in. You're doing rest to chill your body out before your big event. I see all too often that when people get in taper, they get the taper tantrums
Oh, yeah.
and they go out and they do something that's like out of the norm. Like, I haven't ice skated in 12 years. Let me go try to ice skate and I'm going to break a leg. Like, bro, eat a Pop-Tart, sit on the couch, watch a movie, and chill the freaking heck out. It's Golden Hour Adventure Time, featuring everyday people doing extraordinary things. From the peaks of victory to the valleys of defeat, these are their stories. Now, from the back of the pack, your hosts, Justin and Robbie. Welcome to Golden Hour Adventures. Today, you got me and Robbie. We got an interesting topic, but first, we're going to chit-chat a little bit about our lives because our lives are not interesting, but this is our platform, so you're going to hear about it.
We do what we want.
Before we hit record, we had this super interesting conversation about bees because if you don't know, I'm also a beekeeper, and I just made chapstick out of my beeswax. And I'm super, super impressed. I don't know why. It's was very easy to do, but the chapstick, I got 15 jars of 15 little tubes of chapstick now. So, and I have still a ton of wax left. So I could probably make 400 more of those little deals just because it's easy to do. And yeah,
So
super cool though.
How do you get the wax?
So the wax is the cappings off of the frame. So right, like the bees, they put honey into the comb and then they cap it. And so that it stores.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be at about 15 to 18% moisture before they cap it. So if you see honey that's not capped, that means that its moisture content's too high. So they put it in there and then they let the moisture, work itself out so it doesn't freeze. And then they put a capping over it. So that's what we do is when we uncap the honey to spin the frames, we keep the cappings, which is just wax. I mean, it's like dirty wax. It's got all this, craziness in it. But then, Friday, I did the wax. So I have just this huge container of wax. And what I did is I poured water on top of the wax and then I put it in the oven. And so mixture with the water, it broke down all the wax. And I had to do this 3 times. And then after you take it out of the oven, you filter it through a cheesecloth to get all the extra stuff out. And so I had to do that process 3 times. But then now I have a block of wax that's can be used for candles or chapstick or whatever you want to use wax for. But I have a block of wax now that's so interesting to me. But today this weekend I decided I went and bought all the materials to make chapstick. It's super easy. It was 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, 2 tablespoons of shea butter, 2 tablespoons of the wax. You melt that all down in a double boiler. At the very end, you put like 1/4 of a cup of some kind of oil. I used extra virgin olive oil. And then you just pour that into the little tubes that you buy. So super cool. I don't know. It's just it's cool that you use every piece of, what you essentially steal from the bees. So I got 10 gallons of honey this year and a huge block of wax.
We were talking about how I bought some at the honey here in Rapid City from the farmer's market, but they also sell the candles. And just hearing that those candles are not cheap. I mean, you got to put away, you got to do the work. The bees got to do the work.
Yeah,
but then they just put a wick in it, and they're selling them for quite a bit of money at the farmer's market.
Yeah, I would think. Well, a candle would take up, depending on the size of the candle, would take up a significant amount of my wax, and so, I can make it last a lot longer with the chapstick. A candle would be cool, I guess, but the price of chapstick nowadays, if you use chapstick, is extremely high. I was doing the math on it, so I did the math on how much, the bees cost. They're about $250 a pack, So $500, and then all the like the supply stuff that you buy. So I figured that I was about $700 into my bees this year. And I made 15 little tubes of it. So I got a $46 tube of chapstick.
The most expensive chapstick
Yeah,
ever.
so saving money there.
But you made it. The bees
But
made it.
I made it. So me and the
bees
bees,
made
we
it.
made it. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys made
So
it together as a
it's
team.
funny.
How
Yeah,
did it?
stealing the capping from them, like that's not really, it's not a really big. The honey is the big deal. They don't truly care for that, but the capping is, here or there. But the I do leave a lot for them, to eat on throughout the winter as well. So we'll see. We'll see how this winter treats them. Hopefully, they do better. So they didn't do so well last year, but hopefully they do okay this year.
Did they all survive last year?
They did not. No, there was too
Okay.
much moisture buildup in there. I did everything that I was supposed to do as far as like feeding them, wrapping them up, making sure that they're nice and insulated, basically. But one thing I didn't do, and what I didn't think about was ventilation through the hive. So we put them
Mm,
inside of an insulated. It's a chicken coop that's on my property, and it's insulated. So I was like, oh, we'll add even more insulation. We'll put them in this chicken coop. Well, there's no circulation of air in that chicken coop. And so once moisture built up into the hive, it froze them out. And so
oh,
I'm honestly just going to leave them outside this year.
okay.
Yeah. I'm just going to leave them outside and then let the air circulate through the hive that way. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. I know a
Is
lot of
that
people
what?
just leave them outside. There are
Okay.
people that go to extremes where they have shelving that they put them in, inside of these deals that have fans on them, and they have temperature regulation, and it's like, I mean, I care about them, but I don't care that much about them. I'm not going to build a shed that has temperature regulation for them. So, but yeah,
once once they
I
start
think
having a voice,
leaving them
maybe.
outside, and well, once the snow starts falling, that's an extra
Oh,
layer
yeah,
of insulation.
insulation.
I
Yeah.
just got to clean off the front of the hive, that way that the air can circulate. But I think they'll be fine because they're inside of a plastic hive. So it's a double insulated poly hive. So it's already insulated itself. I'm going to put another 2 inches of insulation around it to help further insulate it. And then, you do a candy board and feed them and all that. But we'll see if, yeah, that was the one thing that was missing last year was the ventilation. I think if I'd had the ventilation, they would have been fine. But they didn't make it with the ventilation.
Well, you'll have to keep us updated on your bees this winter.
Yeah, I'll have to keep well, the thing is you don't really check on them because as soon as you introduce like that really
Air
cold air, that'll freeze
freezes
them
her.
out.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so you pretty much, once you turn them off for the winter, which is going to be about October for us, I'm going to feed them all through September, which is a 1-to-1, 2-to-1 sugar water mixture. And so, get them where they can get all those stores of sugar water in, so they'll have something to eat on as well. But once you get done feeding them, you board them up and you really don't touch them until about April.
Okay.
And so once you see them start flying around outside, you're like, oh, I guess they're ready to come out.
So next April, we'll check back in on the bees.
Next April is like, now if there's a day where it's like it's going to be like 30 degrees, I could probably pop the top, but those 30-degree days are pretty rare until about March. So, but yeah, so we'll see what happens, but I think it'll be pretty exciting. But hey, this is a running podcast, right? So it's not a bee podcast, but
yeah.
So yeah, still training for Cowboy 200. I had a down week this week, so pretty minimal miles. I think I had 40 something miles this week. Nothing big. I still got to do my run for the day. I haven't done that yet. It has been pouring down rain all day. And so I'm like, man, I really wanted to get on the trails, but I also don't want to be soaked for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So I'll probably end up just getting on the treadmill. But yeah, as soon as we get off here, I'm going to go do my long run for the week and call her good. But I got a down week this week and then 3 more weeks of build, and then we were call her good for for Cowboy 200.
Well, your down week is my up week, so I got about 40 miles this week. So I got back to back. I got almost 17 miles yesterday and 16 miles today. So and some few runs during the week, but nothing big.
Yeah, I did a pretty big back to back last week. I did a 20 and an 11, but I did a really long day. I think we talked about it on the podcast last week, but I did a really long day on the mountain, which was about, I think it was a little over 5 hours. It's just real technical going up. It's very technical going down. So there was some runnable sections early in that run, and then there was some, pretty good runnable sections later on, but a lot of it was hiking. And so I think that was a good day just to be on feet, and then I did that 11 just on the road. So, good little run mix. But yeah, back to backs, I'm not a big fan of them. I know they're necessary, but I don't know why. I don't know. Not a big fan, but they are, in trail and ultra running. I think they're essential for sure.
Yesterday, I was more exploring than anything. I think I was on my feet for a little over 6 hours, so nothing
Oh, okay.
fast. Just a lot of hiking and exploring on a new trail that I haven't been on, and it was really cool. And I just wandered around pretty much. I was just like, yeah, I got all day. I might as well just spend the time on my feet. Miles, whatever. At this point, it's pretty late in the game, so just get what I can.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking too. I'm coming off of a 100-mile build up, running 100 miles. So my fitness is there. It's just kind of maintaining that fitness. There's only so much you can do to prep for these big races. It's like me going out running 50, 60 miles at one point. Like, what is that going to do as opposed to, just maintaining the fitness that I already have,
Yeah,
40, 50-mile weeks, and just maintain it and ride it out until the 200.
yeah.
I know people that are listening to this that have run 200 milers. They're like, oh my gosh, that's not at all what I would do. I'd be going out running 100-mile races, but it's like, I just ran 100 like 2 months ago. So I have tons of fitness still.
Well, they
So,
don't want to hear what I'm doing.
well, probably don't want to hear what you're doing. Robbie's got like 100 miles on the week on the year.
Yeah, I think I'm like almost 500 miles this year.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
so
All
I picked
right.
it
All
up a
right.
little bit, but yeah, this will be a test of mental fortitude. So
Yeah, I think this is going to be a mental, probably a physical too.
it'll definitely be physical, but my mind will tell me to stop before my body does.
Yeah, it normally does. It normally does.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned that you're nervous, and so I thought one thing that we could talk about was some of our like pre-race rituals, like maybe not necessarily the day. Well, we could talk about the day of or the day before, but like, what are you maybe 2 weeks leading up to it? Like, what are you doing to prepare yourself both physically and mentally? I guess physically, you're kind of to that point where you're starting to taper. The work has already been put in. So what are you doing maybe like the 2 weeks and then, a couple days before the race leading up to it?
Usually, when I go into something longer, it's a lot of manifesting the race while I'm out on the trail, or just when I have some free time in my mind, how things are going to play out, how I want them to play out, going through aid station to the next aid station.
There's
What
not
I
very
would,
many of them, so that's going to be tough.
yeah, which that's why, this
I've
one
run
is going to be,
hundreds that have more aid station than
yeah,
this
this one's going to be a
200.
little different. This one's going to be, what do I want to carry from here to there?
Yeah.
And working on that. So yeah, just like a lot of manifesting. I usually try to be pretty self-sufficient, so I don't get too crazy on what I'm going to put in drop bags and stuff like that. Usually, if I don't have a crew or anything like that, then it's kind of planning with some jackets. But a lot of times, I will just carry a jacket the whole time for when I might need it. This time, we're gonna be able to put some stuff out and have some help, so it'll be a little different. My worry is those you know, long distances between aid stations. So I've been
Yeah.
thinking about and working on how much water I want to carry. But that's also what the temperature is going to be too.
What do you think you're going to carry?
So I'm going to carry 2 flask in my vest. Then I'm going to carry 2 flask in my shorts. Then I think I'm going to put another 2 flask in my vest for those longer sections. So I'm going to carry 6 flasks during those 20-mile sections where we don't have much in there. Calorie wise, that's going to be a harder part. Probably just a lot of candy. I've been running with cheese, but it melts and it gets a little weird. But
Cheese. That's interesting. I've never heard of anybody running with cheese.
I'm just trying to figure out some salty to some savory too, and
Yeah.
something you don't really have to chew. So cheese has been working pretty good. Besides when it gets all nasty and melty, you just kind of pop it out of the bag.
Yeah.
Also, beef jerky, like meat sticks. I guess I wouldn't say beef jerky. Ones that are easy, just to get some salt in there, so that flavor fatigue doesn't. I want to be able to just keep switching back and forth. I'm going to eat a lot of real food at the aid stations, of course. But I'm also, I guess, I'm going to depend on a lot of real food for this too. I don't want to use a lot of gels or anything like that. So
Okay.
I've been trying to dial in candy and savory stuff that I can carry that doesn't weigh a lot.
Okay. That makes sense. I think I'm just going to do a bladder. I have a 3-liter bladder, which is massive. It's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that I would rather have a bladder than bottles. I might carry one bottle that might have some electrolytes in it,
Mm-hmm.
but that's it. I don't think I'll carry anything as far as like nutrition in a bottle. I think I'll only carry just water in my bladder, and then maybe have maybe switch off. Like, I think a tailwind would work every once in a while. Tailwind sits pretty good on my stomach, so I think I'll do a tailwind every once in a while. It has tons of electrolytes in it, and then also the carbs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm the same with you. I would rather do real food rather than gels. I will have some gels with me just in case, because I think that they're they're an easy source if you need them. Like, say we have a bunch of food that we're carrying with us on that 20-mile section. It just nothing's just working, right? Like,
Right.
it's easy just to pop a gel
Mm-hmm.
and go from there. So I think I will have some gels with me, but I don't think I'll have a lot. I think I'm going to rely more on actual real food. But the aid stations seem like they're going to be really well stocked as far as real food, like cooking food, like
Okay.
hamburgers and that type of stuff. So I'm pretty excited to see. And I've run one of their races before, and so I came in. It was a 20-mile loop. You did it 3 times for 100K. And that last time that I came through before starting my final loop, Chase was like, "Hey, do you want to have a hamburger?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll make you a hamburger right now." And I was like, "Heck yeah, let's do this." And so, like, I started my 3rd loop eating a hamburger.
Oh, I
It's
love it.
just like, and it was like, I don't know, probably 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So it was like, it hit just right. It was perfect. But yeah, anyway.
And another thing too that I've been thinking about too. Then I'll get into kind of the leading up to the ritual, but the heat too is going to be depending. It's going to be far worse for you than me. It's been hot here in Rapid City this year, and very humid. I mean,
Okay.
right now, as we sit, it's like 75% humidity. And living in Colorado and Arizona and Utah, I'm used to, super low humidity, usually under 10% there. So, um, that has been in my mind too, is taking it really easy through the day, and we might have to push some more miles through the night. Um,
Yeah. And I think that's something that is smart. I definitely think that's smart. I'm looking at the weather. It looks like it's going to be like 80s, like real low 80s during the day and like 50s at night. So honestly, we may strike it gold,
mhm.
because 80s, yeah, that's hot, but it's the end of September in Nebraska. So it's like, what can
Yeah,
you couldn't really ask for better temperatures.
that's true.
50
Yeah,
at night, that's not terrible at all either.
no,
So
I just don't want to. Those longer sections. I don't want to be running out of water.
yeah.
And then another thought that was on my mind today was is I don't want to play catch up. We're going to be going slow enough and doing our thing. Playing catch up, for all you new runners out there, if you get behind and you have to catch up
It's
during your
tough.
races, it sucks. It makes the race just that much harder. So, if we can stay ahead the whole time, which
Hey, why don't you define playing catch up? Because for someone who's a new runner, running these long distance races, they may understand what playing catch up means.
so catch up could be, for me, it's three different things: water, electrolytes, and calories. If you have to play catch up on either of those three, you're going to be in a hard spot. We know with water, if you're dehydrated and if you're getting really hot, your electrolytes all very low. It's going to be really hard to keep water down. It's really hard to eat some food because your body's going to reject everything. So there's those two main components. Just hydration.
What are some good signs to look out for if you're, thinking you might be behind?
So for me, when I'm getting dehydrated, I'll stop sweating, and especially if it's hot outside, I will stop sweating. My lips will get very dry to the point like where they're feel like they're cracking.
Where you need some beeswax,
Yeah, you need
chapstick,
some Justin's beeswax. Then some other things, I'll start getting headaches, hot flashes, uh,
nausea.
nausea, chills. I've had chills before. If I get the chills, I know I'm really in a bad spot. Uh, that means I usually need to sit down the next aid station and really fully hydrate and recover before I can move on. Uh, Lightheadedness, all those. Now we'll go to calories. If you get behind on calories, that can be another tricky one too, because all those same kind of things can happen, where you get nausea. You'll get the famous bonk where you have no energy. Then what that could be, you know, headaches. Same type of symptoms as with the hydration. So you kind of have to keep all those in check. And if you're playing catch up, that means that you're deficit in something and you're trying to get back to normal. But in these longer races, getting back to normal is almost impossible unless
Yeah.
you stop. And we hear it from runners, I may have to take, you know, an hour in an aid station, drink and eat, and leave that aid station not throwing up or having the chills or a headache or being lightheaded. My hands will tend to swell too if I'm got an electrolyte issue going on. Um,
That's
the,
a big noticeable is the swelling.
this is swelling,
Mhm.
and I just with the experience now and knowing those symptoms and catching them right away will just make for a better run, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, you're spot on with that. Like, and that's going to be the balance that, on this race that, we're shooting for sub 3 days. Like none of us have,
Right? That's weird to say.
I know, right? Neither of us have been on a race that long,
Mhm.
I think my longest is like 35 hours. I'm about to double that. And
Yeah,
so it's going to be a wild ride.
and not knowing with sleep too. I've been awake for over 48 hours with no sleep.
Yeah.
A lot of that was crewing, so some of that was running, but I don't know what my body's going to do with the constant movement that we're going to do. So that's going to be an unknown.
Yeah. 100%.
Might be some dirt naps for each of us.
So what are you doing like the day before?
Day before, for me, well, I'll just go with the week of longer races. Anything, like 100. Monday, I'll usually rest. Then Monday, we'll start my hydration protocol, making sure I'm getting enough liquids. But there's different ways I've done that. Now I just, you know, drink enough till I feel that I'm not thirsty and just continue to do that. Then do that all the way up to race day. On Monday, I usually will have like some bigger meals throughout the day, just kind of to get that need that I'm going to use, even though, I'm still expending it, but I just like to eat a little more food that Monday, starting that Monday and the week of. I know some people go the other way and try to stay light and all those other things, but I like to eat more food. Sleep, sleep and hydration are the number one things really for me. I will make sure that I get at least 8 hours. I would rather shoot for 10. Then also seeing how my body feels. If I got any little niggles or anything like that, just pay a little extra attention to if I need to roll something out or put some pressure on something, massage anything, kind of not let that run my week, but just know that it's there.
Yeah.
Then I will also, depending when the race is, so this one starts on Friday, I'll take Thursday off too. And on Thursday, day before the race, we'll just be going through everything again. The cool thing is we'll be able to sit there and hang out and go back and forth. I think that's another thing too is if you can be around other runners, just the conversation, the connection there. We might learn something from another person that's already done cowboy. Be like, hey, you might want some chapstick at mile blah 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 because you know what I mean, and stuff
100%.
that I wouldn't think about. Then I'm a race day. I'm a weird one. I tend not to eat before a race.
Really?
Yeah, I've done that for years. It suits me well, and my reasoning behind it is just say I get up and I remember multiple times having a bagel with peanut butter and banana, and it just didn't sit well.
Mm-hmm.
Then right from the get go, I'm like having stomach issues
Mm-hmm.
that I got to figure out. Whereas if there's nothing, I will drink coffee and some water and some salt. If I go the other direction, I can see where I'm feeling, how I'm feeling, then start to slowly add some food in there. Then just push through that way instead of introducing some food, then my nerves, or I'm sitting in the bathroom and porta john, whatever. Then my mind will go. Then I'll be like, well, my stomach feels like crap. I'm starting the race feeling like crap. I'd rather just start with nothing in my stomach than just figure out as I go.
Yeah.
That's just me. I know other people have different ways, but that's one of my big rituals is starting a race on an empty stomach.
Okay. I like that. Yeah, I tend to eat in the morning. Nothing big, maybe like an oatmeal packet or something like that. Oatmeal sits pretty good with me, so it's usually what I go with. I don't really go with anything heavy like a bagel or anything like that. I've actually heard that like cereal is a really good thing because it's high in sugar.
Yeah.
I've heard that's really good. I've never tried it. I don't want to, I mean, why not? Like ultra marathoners try new things all the time during the
Right.
race, so whatever. But yeah, I usually just do like a little oatmeal packet or something like that. Nothing heavy. I'm kind of the same as you. I'll definitely eat, but just nothing like super heavy. And it's usually like if I can, if it's not a super super early start, I will try to eat like an hour or hour and a half to 2 hours before. But I know this one's a pretty early start, so I don't know if we'll be able to get that that time up. I'd rather have some sleep rather than
Yeah.
make sure I get my bowl of oatmeal.
I guess one thing I forgot to say too is that night before I like to eat, depending when the race starts, but my last meal around 4 or 5 o'clock.
Oh,
If
okay.
if it's all controllable and all that. I remember, when you did Bandera, we ate pretty late.
Yeah, we did. We ate super late.
And I think we both woke up feeling the food that we ate the night before.
Yeah.
I think we finished at 11 o'clock or something.
Yeah, that was really late. And then the race started at like 6 or something.
Yeah.
It was kind of a
Um,
crazy,
that was for
crazy
you.
time.
I was just crewing, but you had a full stomach when you woke up.
Yeah, and normally we ate a lot of pasta that night, and I don't think we ate pizza, but I think it was more pasta. It was a Italian restaurant, and that's not normally my go-to. My go-to is steak.
Yeah,
I'll eat a steak and potato.
that's me
That's
too.
my
Me too.
that's my go-to.
Yeah,
I feel so much better the next day when I eat that. And so, and I know sometimes it's not always possible to eat that, so you have to make do with what you can. But
yeah.
that's my go-to ritual is a steak and potato. and sometimes I'll eat dessert too.
Oh
I
yeah.
I'll grab, like, if they have chocolate cake or something like that, I'll eat that as well just to treat yourself. But yeah, I don't have much of a ritual that's different from yours. Take extra rest days throughout the week. Real mindful of my body, trying to make sure that I'm not doing anything extra or anything stupid. Uh, week or two before leading up is the taper, and so yeah, it's pretty boring, which I think it should be.
I
Your
agree.
your taper should be boring. It shouldn't be. I'm not running, so I can go out and do this different crazy adventure. No, it shouldn't be that. You're tapering. That means the work has been put in. You're doing rest to chill your body out before your big event. I see all too often that when people get in taper, they get the taper tantrums
Oh yeah.
and they go out and they do something that's like out of the norm. Like, oh, I haven't ice skated in 12 years. Let me go try to ice skate and I'm going to break a leg. Like, bro, eat a Pop Tart, sit on the couch, watch a movie, and chill
Yep.
the freaking heck out. That's what a taper is. You've done the work. You're not losing fitness. You're giving your body some rest before your big event. I don't know. And so I
Yeah.
I take advantage. I actually like the taper
So do
because
I.
I I sometimes get burnt out by the training, and I know we've talked about that a lot on here. And so I really enjoy you do all these big mile weeks and you get all this big mileage, and then you pretty drastically change it and bring it down. And I enjoy the taper. I really do. I enjoy down weeks. I have a down week this week, right? I took an extra day off. And so it was an unscheduled, I had a workout plan for that day. Not a workout, but I think it was just a bike ride. But I, you know, I had some stuff come up and I took an extra day. And guess what? My fitness is still going to be there. It's not going anywhere.
I also like to tell people too is psychology plays a big part of it too for me too is and I'm going to put this two different ways. It should be to the point where race day shows up and you're like that dog that's been stuck in his kennel for 24 hours or whatever it is, or and you let that dog out and you just go and you forget about everything and you just go.
I think they wrote a song about that. It's like, who let the dogs out?
I always like to use that visual because people can understand when their
Yeah.
dog's been in the kennel all day and they let it out and it's got the zoomies, it's going crazy. It's
Yeah.
so excited to be out and see you. That's
100%.
kind of, and the other twist in it too is like I like tell people, you've put in the work, nothing can change, right? You were just saying your fitness is there, all that's there. But that day that you could go do that event, you should be remembering why you love this sport.
Yeah.
So that psychology should be like, I get to go do this thing that I want to do. I've done all this training leading up to this. I get to go do this. So that psychology is a big part too. Is you put in a shitload of work, whatever you know, how long you've been training for, your program for, and then a lot of people are saying they get without running, they go crazy, then they think they're losing their fitness. But if you can kind of think that's like on Friday, I get to go out and put all this to work.
Hmm.
I think that's really important because you know, the tantrums, they're a real thing. And I've seen people go through it and I've seen people get injured
Yeah.
during leading up on race week because they go out and decide to do a freaking workout
Yeah.
because they think they've losing their fitness, realizing that workout isn't going to do anything till 2 weeks later when you adapt. What you did 2 weeks before, that's what matters. Not now. You're just chill.
Yeah. 100%. But people still do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I want to throw out a correction. I was 100% wrong about something. And as a man, this is hard to admit, right? Because we do not like to admit when you're wrong. But last week on Thursday, we put out our news episode. And I said that Ann Flowers was an ER nurse. And I need to correct myself and say she is an ER doctor. So not that any more impressive than what nurses do, but she is in the hospital, saving lives as a doctor. And so going through all the schooling, going through all the work hours as an ER doctor, going out and breaking a 31-year record. So very, very impressive. And so, and Flower, if you happen to listen to this, I apologize for calling you a nurse. It was a oversight by myself. And so I apologize and credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
Hey, one thing I also want to talk about, and I know if you follow me on social medias, you're probably tired of hearing me talk about it, or we've talked about it before, but with the newest edition of your boy Tracksmith getting into the trail line, I thought it was a good opportunity to bring in some of the high-end brand talk. And so some of the big ones are Satisfy. We know they're really big into the trail. Bandit is, kind of a road running. Norma's trail. They're primarily trail. And then we got Tracksmith, who is new into the trail line, very known for road and track running. And they're starting to get into the trail running. What are your thoughts with these high-end brands that are either, making their debut with trail, or a brand that is known for road running, track running, coming into the trail run? What are your thoughts? And maintaining these high-end prices when they're not normally a trail. Let's talk about like Tracksmith for one. Making, I've been very educated because I put out a hate, a kind of a hate reel on Tracksmith because of their policy with their BQ singlet. That's neither here nor there. If you're into the BQ thing, whatever, cool. But I put out kind of like, oh, look at these guys. They're in the trail now. But from what I've been told, because if you're going to put out some hate, you got to be able to take it too. And so
Yeah.
I've had conversations with people, through comments and then even into DMs. And they told me like their gear is real quality. It's solid stuff. But I question getting into the trail line because some of the clothes that they have, they don't look like trail running clothes.
No.
That pack that they sell looks like you're going to sweat your butt off
The
with no ventilation in the back.
the
The trail shoes look like, I called them Mall Walker 5000s, but they look like a suede shoe with, something that you would wear on a gravel road, maybe. But from what I've been told, their quality of their clothing is really good. Their shoes are really good. They last. But does that price point need to be there? And like what drives that price point? Because there's brands out there that have other high-end quality stuff and they don't drive with those high-end price. I know they're a small company. I've been educated that they're primarily developed and manufactured in the US, so that's going to drive a little bit of a cost, but I'd love to hear your thoughts, Robbie.
So I knew nothing about Tracksmith at all. And I didn't know anything about Bandit either. I kind of looked up their stuff. For me, doing this since, essentially 2010 and watching companies come and go, kind of. I've never, like, your price point has priced me right out. Like your vest, I'm looking at it right now, $180 for something like Justin said, it zips up the front. I don't know. It's just,
Well, I mean, the same argument is there that Solomon's advanced skin is $180.
you're right.
But Solomon's also a proven trail running company.
I was just going to say that
They have
they've
developed
proven
that advanced skin to be able to demand $180, in my opinion.
agreed. They've
I mean,
shown.
you go look at a trail race and what is everybody wearing? It's
Mhm.
pretty much the advanced skin.
Yeah, and that's we can go with that Satisfy too. Like we didn't know about Satisfy until Cocodona. I didn't know about it. When they came out with their cola, I never heard of them in that Michael Versteeg commercial they did with the cola. Then I clicked on the website and I'm like, whatever, $180 for a moth-eaten shirt, whatever.
The the $400 vest.
Yeah. So my thing too is people, and if you're out there and you've got this gear, let us know, because tell us what justifies you paying that much money. Like, did you just go, I'm going to buy this $200 shirt with holes in it because it looks cool? Or is there something about the brand you like? That could be a missing component. Justin, you were saying, their American company, their stuff's maybe made here. I don't know or not. That could be driven too. But for me, like, I watched Ultimate Direction come up with a very good price point, and Ultra Spire, same thing. I've watched them come up, good price point, and they've grown through the years, and they've proven to me as a consumer that their stuff works. Same with Solomon, right? Satisfy, you are so overpriced, you can't get it into normal people's hands, and I can't get a verdict if your stuff works or not. It may be great, but the everyday athlete, the people that are listening to us, everyday people, they can't afford that stuff.
Yeah. You're not paying $180 for a moth-eaten shirt or $400 for a vest for, a dad that has 3 kids and works full time is not going to spend that money on that. I don't know. I think Satisfy Tracksmith is high. I get it. It's high. It's not nearly as high as Satisfy.
Yeah.
Satisfy is way out there. And I don't know why. Like, what drives that price point? And people are buying their stuff. I see their shirts and hats all over online, and and maybe it's great stuff. I can't see that I'll ever own one because
No.
I'm not going to pay $180 for that.
And
Now,
we've got-
Norma's shoes are really, really high. They have shoes. But our buddy Jason that chased all those FKTs that came on the podcast, like, he wore Normas, and he said that he got 1,000 miles out of a pair of shoes. And so that they're $325. And he's beating shoes up because he's running to the top of mountains and running down the mountains. Like, that scree and the rocks that he's running in the West Coast, upper West Coast, and those big mountains, like, those are tearing the shoes up, or they should be tearing the shoes up. But if he's saying they're lasting, he's wearing them, like, I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, does that price point drive it? We know Speedland says you're going to get, what is it, 500 miles out of a pair of shoes, or 1,000 miles out of a pair of shoes?
Yeah.
Norma said 1,000. I looked on their website. So the $325, they said you're going to get 1,000 miles. So typically my shoes, $150, whatever, let's call it that, I get 250 miles out of them. So that's 4 pair of shoes that I would have gone through at $150 when I could buy one at $325 and get 1,000. I think it's hard to justify that. Are you really going to get 1,000 miles? And what technology are they doing as opposed to, where my Brooks Cascadia is? What's the difference in the technologies there that I'm only getting 250 out of the Cascadias and I can get 1,000 out of it? It's just hard to believe to me. I have a pair of Speedlands. I don't wear them that much just because they're not really built for somebody that has a high arch. They're more like flat-footed runners, but I probably have like 100 something miles in them, but they feel fine when I put them on, obviously, but it's only 100 miles. So
yeah. Yeah. The other thing that crosses my mind too is it a bougie thing that, look at me, cool if it is, I don't really care. You put on some high-end gear and go around, I could care less if you're wearing that, or, you bought your stuff at offer up or whatever, some used stuff. I don't really care.
I think you're 100% buying the brand.
Yes, I agree. Right.
I think it's a flex. Like, you buy some Satisfy and you wear it. Like, everybody knows when they see that Run Culture shirt or hat that's a Satisfy hat. That's $100.
Yeah. Do I think that makes you that fast? I don't know. I'm looking at,
maybe, I don't know. I don't have a shirt that has holes in it. I don't know if I'll be faster.
I'm like looking at this Tracksmith, and their Overland shorts are $135. They're, short tights. My Path projects were 95, I believe, when I bought them. I love those shorts. My John they were a little less. I love those shorts. Like,
But
what
John
could you?
G has proven themselves. Path projects have proven themselves, time and time again. And I'm not saying Tracksmith hasn't proved themselves, but we don't know in the trail world. Like,
We don't.
trail
Yeah.
shorts are different than road shorts.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I, you know, the
And we can
trail
talk about.
lines have to be, they're different stuff. So
And if you listeners out there, you like Tracksmith stuff, let us know. Tell us what you like if you run road or trail. Then I also saw Rabbit came out with their shoes. Rabbit has a
I
pair of
did
shoes
see
now.
Rabbit come some shoes. Yeah.
And I'm not. Rabbit makes some good stuff, but some other stuff is junk. I'm not gonna lie. Their tights I got are junk. Like,
Yeah.
they ripped on the first run. They don't stay up. I've heard from some other people that the tights are junk. So would I go buy a pair of their shoes? No, I wouldn't. If they're tried and
Yeah.
tested 10 years from now and they hold up, yeah, maybe then, right? But I think we're seeing of a lot of companies, and it's kind of cool, it's innovative, but they're jumping into stuff maybe they shouldn't jump into quite yet. That's their decision, it's not mine. They're taking the risk. I can choose to buy it or not, and I choose not to buy it. And you know, would hate to see that they collapse their company off something like shoes.
Yeah.
They throw their eggs in one basket and it falls apart. I would hate to see that with some of these companies. Another thing I kind of want to talk about too is, these some of these shoes, and I'll call out Hoka right away, is whatever they're doing with their trail design, their shoe designers, why do you keep changing your models? I was
Year after year, the new model that comes out, it's worse and or better. I mean, they change them for the better sometimes, but maybe they think they change them for the better and they change them for the worse.
but I was thinking about this on my own today. Brooks, what model Cascadia are they on?
19.
They haven't changed a goddamn thing. They have, right? But that shoe is still.
I think they've made small changes, but I don't have the 19. So I think I've worn everything from the 14 up to the 18. And I don't notice much of a difference from the 14 to the 18. And so I can't imagine that the 19 is much different. Now they might add, like, I think one year they added a toe guard, which is, I think, a good improvement, because
Yeah.
if you run trails, you're going to kick rocks, and there's nothing worse than stubbing your toe on a rock. So adding a kick guard, I think, is great. And they may have changed the stack height a little bit. I think the drop is maintained. It's 8mm. It's always been an 8mm drop with the Cascadia. Now they may have changed the stack height here and there, but from what I can tell, the 14 through the 18 has always been the same. And
Then
so
we'll
I
go
haven't
to their.
noticed a big difference when putting on a different pair.
Let's go to their Ghost, their top selling shoe.
I
What are
mean, the
they
Ghosts
on?
haven't I don't know what number the Ghosts they're on. They're high. They
20
haven't
something probably.
changed.
They haven't
Yeah,
changed.
they're in 20s. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I've got the new Mafate 5s. They don't know. They've upgraded from the Mafate Speed Trail 4 and they redesigned the shoe.
Yeah.
I wore Speed
Well, they have like
Goats.
3 version of the shoe, right? They have the speeds, the X, the
Well, they got
fives.
so, my progression was, the Speed Goats. Till I couldn't wear the Speed Goats because they changed those so much. Got in the Mafate Speed 4s. Loved them. Been running them ever since. I've probably gone through 6 or 7 pairs of them. Then they came out with the Light, which they just changed the upper, same pretty much shoe. Then, they came out with the X, which is their carbon. Now, all of a sudden they decide to redesign the shoes that people love and have been wearing
Yeah.
to a different shoe. Are you thinking about your customers? Like, if I have to keep switching shoes because you keep changing the models on me, and this could be it for Hoka for me. Like, you've changed the shoe now to a point where I don't like the drop. You've done some
'Cause
other
it's an
things.
8mm now, right? They
8mm.
went up high. Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's rare for Hokas, like, to be
and
that
I've been in
high.
4 for 10 plus years. I've been 4, so you
Yeah.
know, changing the stack height, they're very unstable on the toes on the downhill. That it's like, stop.
Yeah.
I know that the shoe designers like have to make a name for themselves, but I look back to Brooks, I look back to Scami, these guys that have not changed their models much, and people are still wearing those shoes. Then you get into like some of these other like Hoka with their shoes, Ultra, the shoes fall apart. They may be changing the models, the shoes just fall apart.
Yeah.
Their quality's gone downhill since they sold, and they've tried to do some stuff with drop and other stuff. It's just like just stop, listen to your customers. That's what
Like I have
that's what I'm
Asics Gel Nimbus, the just their basic road shoe. It's like kind of their everyday road
hmm
shoe. I would say it's comparable to like a Brooks Ghost.
hmm
They're on it. I got the 27 or maybe it's the 34. I don't know. It's one of those high numbers. And it's like, I remember having that shoe when I was running in like 2010, 2009, it's like, they haven't changed that shoe. That shoe's the exact same.
Yeah.
Everybody goes to this rocker technology now. It's like, oh, we got to put a rocker in it. Why? You've made 27 versions of this shoe without a rocker and you are selling great. Why put a rocker in it? And I don't like rockers, and that's why I can't wear Hokas, because my feet just don't do well with a rocker. And I know most shoes have a little bit of a rocker, but like a Hoka is an extreme rocker,
hmm
right? Like a Bondi has a massive rocker, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I just can't do it. It just doesn't work for my running gait, and so yeah. Anyway, I'm on board with you. Like, why if the shoe is a great selling shoe, why are we making such massive changes that it just is essentially a brand new shoe
Yeah.
with the
And then
same name?
so now I'm gonna have to go look and find Mafate Speed 4s and try to buy as many pairs as I can,
Yeah.
because now they've, in my eyes, ruined the shoe.
And you said the New Balance, those Hero 9s or Hero 8s that
Yeah, the Hero 9s.
they have a huge rocker. You
They
didn't
have a
like
huge
that?
rocker, and they're very unstable on the downhill. Like,
Uh,
I like to, depending on the downhill, if I'm bombing, I'm on my forefoot, I'm not on my heels.
yeah.
And with that rocker, it's just like I'm way too far forward. I'm just going to kiss the ground one day. And
Yep.
if there is a rock there and I do place that foot there, it's, you could just think. Now,
Yeah.
on the flat, I think these, Mafate 5s will be great for cowboy. They're squishy. They'll be good on that. Technical trails, they're uh, they're just not there for me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
If I got to find something else, I'll find something else. But I just want some of these shoe companies just to chill.
For sure. For sure. Well, Jeff Garmeyer, he's 16 days, 8 hours into his AT attempt.
Oh man,
Guess how many miles he's at?
I didn't see his update from today, but I'm gonna go 713.
Close. He's at 706.
Because yesterday I thought
That was pretty spot on.
yesterday I think when I saw he was a 691, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
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 Trying to get to the post office or something before it
Yeah.
closed.
He's moving extremely well. He's doing really good. If you want to track him, he's Corsa.run. Go track Jeff Garmeyer. Golden Hour Ventures is a sponsor of his FKT attempt. And so we're following along. We're giving you a weekly update on where he's at. You can follow him on social at The Free Outside. He's still posting podcasts for some reason. I don't know. Maybe he banked a bunch and just like scheduled them. I don't know.
I don't know either. I keep seeing it pop up. I'm like, oh, okay.
Jeff's a wild man. He's doing great things. He's out there telling stories. He's telling stories from the trail.
Oh,
He
it's so
posts
good.
daily. So go give him a follow. Follow along his AT attempt. His AT FKT attempt. That's a crazy thing to say. 16 days, 8 hours, about 700 miles in. So I think it was like 153,000 feet of elevation climb already or something stupid like that. So it's like, it's wild. It's wild. And he is going southbound. So he started in Maine, headed down. So go follow along with him. Also, if you want to follow me and maybe Robbie, we might get Robbie out there, but we're going to West Virginia next year. We're running the West Virginia Trail Fest. There is a 5K with 750 feet of elevation gain in a 5K. That sounds epic. There is a 30K with about 2,700 feet. There's a 60K, which is what I will be running with about 7,500 foot of gain, and a 100K with like 11,000 foot of gain. So if you're looking for a mountain race, if you're looking for a vert heavy race, and you just want to come hang out, West Virginia Trail Fest. And to save you 15%, you can type in Mustache 15 at checkout and Ultra sign up, give you 15% off. If you use Mustache 15, you get entered into a drawing of all the people that enter that code. Somebody's going to get their money back. So that sounds like a pretty good deal. I think price increases on the 1st of September. So go check it out. It's in Pocahontas County. I mean, that sounds really cool. I've been seeing some pictures, like the mountains look amazing. Everything just looked cool about it. I can't wait to go knock off West Virginia off my list. Hopefully we'll get Robbie out there. We can do some podcasting on the trails. It sounds like Robbie's style of race, like a backwoods heavy vert type race. I want to see Robbie run the 100K, to be honest with you.
Yeah, if I'm going to go, it's going to be the 100K.
So Robbie's going to run the 100K. There's no if, but when he goes, there's going to be a 100K Robbie's going to run. It starts at night too.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, it starts at midnight, which I think is awesome.
I love it.
So it starts at midnight. You get like 20 hours to finish it. It's plenty of time. 13 hours for the 60K. So anyway, West Virginia Trail Fest. Go look it up. Go read about it. You'll be excited. Sign up for it. Use Mustache 15 for 15% off. Get entered into the drawing. Come hang out with Robbie and me. And as always, we'll see you guys on the trail.